Do I hear 3 sex scenes? That's 3 sex scenes. No, I don't? Okay, well, we'll have to wait for that next episode for that one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying something a little bit different here. This is not a first reaction for Doctor Who. This is a first reaction for a series that came out a couple of years ago called American Horror Story Asylum. Now, Asylum's the second season. If you don't know American Horror Story that well, it's anthology, anthological. I'm not quite sure what the term is, but each season is self-contained, at least as far as I know. This is what I was told, so this is what I'm going with. And I want you to keep in mind I haven't seen season 1, 3, or 4, so if there are any in-jokes, references, etc., I don't know them. So this is all completely fresh. I'm just watching the first episode. I'm probably going to watch the second episode in a second. These are going to be coming out a little bit more sporadic, just whenever I have time, instead of once a week. And this is just kind of to tide me over until Doctor Who comes back, so I might try another series like Supernatural or something like that. I have watched Supernatural already, but that's aside the point. So, I'm very mixed about this. I'm very intrigued at what's going on. Now, spoilers, by the way. I'm very intrigued at what's going on, but at the same time, I'm very... We follow a couple of different characters. Excuse me, sorry about that. If you're familiar to my videos, I drink a lot of carbonated soda, and it causes me to burp a lot. And I do that off mic, and it usually leads to some weird moments. Whenever I say excuse me, that happens. Anyway, that was a random moment. Anyway, so we're following a couple different characters. Kit, who is a fairly young guy by the look of it, who was married to a black woman. This is in the 1969, so things were a little bit different back then. Or 1960s, I think it was 69. And obviously that's kind of foregoing. And then he gets abducted by aliens, which threw me right for a fucking loop. I'm assuming that has to be a hallucination, but at the same time, they actually pull alien tech out of him near the end, but okay, whatever. Lana, who is a lesbian in the 1960s, so that also went about as well as we would expect. I think it's Sister June is her name, which is the owner, the head nun, at least, of the insane asylum, which is called, and I'm still learning the names of everything, so if I get a name wrong, excuse me, welcome to Braircliff. That's what it's called, Braircliff. This is the episode, Welcome to Braircliff. And, Braircliff Asylum. And, she leads it, very heavily religious, but she does have kind of, and this is what kind of actually made me twinge more towards me liking it, is the fact that she does have that kind of dark side to her, like she's tempted by things, and there are neat things about it. I will say that. And then there's a character, I didn't catch his name, because I'm terrible with names, but I'm just going to refer to him as the Good Doctor, who is goddamn nuts, and experiments on people constantly, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm noticing immediately the stuff like, like I said, spoilers, but I'm actually going to try and I'm going to try and go with the themes a little bit more than the actual plot. I'm noticing at least right now, I'm noticing a very heavy theme of, obviously, like, this very right-wing, left-wing kind of political thing, where the two main characters who are the most innocent are married to a black woman and gay. So there's a very, like, that kind of side to it. Obviously, the African-American thing is almost non-existent today, at least compared to then. The gay thing less, but again, that's one thing. But obviously, that's one thing I noticed immediately. There's also kind of the sides versus religious thing, which I do like the fact that there seems to be kind of 3 sides in this one. There's the innocent patients, which there are 3 of, which is, again, Kit, Lana, and Grace was her name, who helped out Kid a couple times. What I found, and I like the fact that there's that side to it. There's just the flat-out good side, which I'm going to call like neutral good. Then we've got the religious side led by Sister June. Again, I'm not certain on the name, but by Sister June, which is, I'm going to say, like lawful neutral. And she seems interesting because, again, there's that element to it, but there's also kind of her assistant is very frantic and very worrisome and very all that. And I didn't catch her name, her assistant. And I do find her interesting, and I do find the assistant interesting in the sense that there's this kind of odd side to it. And then there's, of course, but I'm just going to refer to as lawful, neutral evil, more or less, which is the Doctor. It sounds very strange calling the Doctor neutral evil. The good Doctor. Anyway. So, yeah, there's obviously the Doctor obviously experiments on the patients, and there's been more than a few who've died, that type of thing. Do I have any particular critiques? Well, within the first, and I do like the setup. I do like the symbolism, the theming, and all that. That's neat. I can run with that. And I also like the fact that it's kind of switching back and forth between the future story where a couple go to the now completely broken down Braircliff. I remembered at that time I didn't have to get the CD case or the DVD case. Basically to Bork. And hi, Adam Levine, by the way. But within the first 15 minutes we had 2 sex scenes and 2 jump scares. That worried me. But I will admit that this, again, the story of the characters did get to me. But like I said, what don't I like about it? Just the jump scares weren't as bad as I was expecting, but there are still a couple that weren't that good, really, because they didn't even get me. Which is saying a lot, because I'm jumpy. Like I said, the amount of sex scenes and sexual content is a little much. I saw the rear ends of 2 people I never wanted to see. The nun's assistant and Kid. Didn't need to see that, but there is a lot of sexual content, and I'm kind of about it, so. But at the same time, I don't hate it, but I'm just kind of like what else was there that I just couldn't really stand? That one comic relief, I think, patient. It's like the first one we see when Lana goes in, who has kind of like a weird face, and it just seems like somebody who's just generally mentally disabled and kind of deformed a little. That actually made me a little uncomfortable. Not in a good way. That actually made me kind of like, and you see her like once or twice, but she doesn't seem to be like a major character, so I'm not gonna complain too much, but it just made me kind of go, And again, I'm taking this probably in a way that a lot of people might not. I'm taking this more as a cheesy series, at least from what I've seen so far. It's very, it doesn't seem bad. I had a couple moments where I was kind of tilting my head, but especially with the aliens, what the fuck? But it doesn't seem bad. Does it seem particularly good? Well, we'll have to see on that one. See how far this goes. I do like the theming. I do like the characters generally speaking. Even Sister June, who's I've been a very hard-fisted religious character with these temptations, is what makes her interesting. If she was just flat out, God this, God that, then though she does try at the very end, she does incarcerate Lana and say, like, we're gonna cure you of being a lesbian. Yeah. 1969, ladies and gentlemen. But I do like a lot of the characters. I do like the theming. I do, generally speaking, again, it does come off very heavy-handedly. Again, I'm not sure if it's right wing or left wing, but very non-Republican. I don't politic. Anyway, but it does seem interesting. There are some flaws with it, but there are some bonuses with it. And I am interested in seeing where everything's going to go. I will say that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you for the next episode, and we'll see how things go. But thank you very much.